I have no words. I have felt all the emotions sitting here thinking about this book and this video. So let's get into it. Hi, my book besties. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know who I am, hi, hello, let's shake hands. My name is Amber Marie, and this is Meet Me at the Bookstore. And in my little area, my side of the internet, we don't give a flying fuck about the outside world. We rather stay inside and read a cozy little book. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the two books. I wanted to film them separately, but I just don't have the mental capacity to film a whole video dedicated to this book. But in this video, we're going to talk about the two books that got me out of my Onyx Storm slump that I was in for literally 2 months. It was the hardest slump to get out of. So, without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that bullshit. Let's get into it. Okay, besties, we're going to start with this book because this is what I decided that was going to get me out of this slump. I fucking knew it, too. I knew the minute I picked it up that this was going to be the book for me and it was going to get me out of my slump, and I was 1,000% correct. 1,000% correct. This is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagaria. I know I'm butchering that, and I so apologize. This fucking masterpiece crushed my soul, broke my heart into a million little fucking pieces, and did not put it back together at all. I experienced every emotion known to man reading this book. It literally put me into a depression, to the point where I literally told my husband, I can't continue this book, and then I picked it up anyway like an idiot. I love this book though. Now, let's get into some thoughts and feelings about this book, and if I think it's recommended for everyone. I would say that this book is a maybe. It's definitely not for everyone, and you have to check your trigger warnings and make sure that you're in the right headspace for this hard of a book. It touched on some very tough subjects. I'm talking suicide, addiction, self-harm, domestic violence, rape, pedophilia. I could go on and on and on. Okay, check your trigger warnings. Okay, besties, if you are not in the headspace to read this book, do not do it. Do not do it. Okay? I don't want you guys getting hurt because of this book. This masterpiece follows 4 amazing men who are in New York City for college. They are studying to be a lawyer, an artist, a house designer, like a designer, an interior designer, exterior designer, all the things, and an actor. You start following them in their early 20s, teens to 20s, and you literally follow them through their entire life. You get this incredible journey. The main character, his name is Jude, and the 3 supporting characters are Malcolm, JB, and Willem. Jude is the main character because you get the most from his point of view, and honestly, everything about this book is just focused around making Jude the happiest person in the world, and it doesn't work. All these friends have traumatic backstories in their own little way. Some of these friends have traumatic stories to tell completely. One completely suffers from meth addiction. Another one being poor, the struggles of adulthood in New York City. You don't even really get a timeline, but I would say it's 21st century. It's a hard book. It's a maybe for me on if I would rate yes or no. This is a maybe. Again, check your trigger warnings. But let's get into Jude's story. So Jude, like I said, is the main character. You kind of follow him through his entire life, and he has the most traumatic and heartbreaking, disgusting backstory that I have ever fucking heard. This man has been through it all. And because of what has happened to him, I'm not going to go into too much. You can read it yourself, look it up if you want, just so I won't spoil it. But because of what has happened, he feels that he's unlovable, he doesn't deserve his friends, and that he is unworthy of ever being in a relationship. And his friends are there to literally tell him, like, no, that's not true. It's not true. He gets adopted later in life by one of his professors named Harvey or Henry. I really, for some reason, can't remember. Oh, it's Harold. 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 I was completely fucking wrong. It's Harold. He gets adopted by Harold and Julia later in life, and they try to convince him from the moment that they met him that he is worthy of being loved, and no matter what happened in the past, like, that doesn't define him. He struggles with his self-image. He struggles with everything, literally. He tries to commit suicide several times. He just, everything that you can imagine somebody going through, he goes through. And I can't really get into it because it just breaks my heart so much. He falls in love with Willem. They have this cute little moment together, and it's a great time. And I think it's super cute that they got their moment. And Willem actually gets him to start believing that he is worthy of everything that he has, and that he can achieve everything that he wants to achieve. And then tragedy hits, and unfortunately, Willem and Malcolm do pass away later on. This is about your 50s, and it devastates Jude. It devastates Jude to the point where he can't continue on. He ends up starving himself, so you do have a little bit of a mental break there. He finally gets the help he needs, and then he ends up attempting suicide again. I'm not going to say if he was successful or not. Like I said, read the book or don't. Look it up. But where you end off is pretty much everyone has grown old and has lived their life, and the last point of view you get is Harold's, and that point of view at the very end of the very last chapter crushed me to no fucking end. After I finished this book, I'm not kidding you, I put it down, I turned over, it was like 3 in the morning, and I'm not kidding you, I stared at that wall and bawled my eyes out for a solid 2 hours. Bawled my eyes out because I couldn't fathom that ending. It was so heartbreaking, so devastating. It crushed me, and I didn't know how to feel. This book put me into the biggest depression of my life, to the point where I literally told my husband, I can't finish this. This has me thinking horrible thoughts. And it was because I was in these characters' heads. But this book is also amazing, and I will say that I will recommend this. I gave it 3 stars. I couldn't give it any more. It just didn't feel right. This wasn't a 5-star read for me, but it definitely was a good read. And it did get me out of the Onyx Storm slump. Thank God for that. But you need, and I'm going to say it over and over again, to please check your trigger warnings, because this goes through some of the toughest subjects and hardest things, and you will feel every single emotion, and it is devastating. I love this book. I will not be reading it again, but I want to thank Kanya for writing such an amazing book and letting everyone just experience this experience. I think everyone should experience it in their own time, and if you're mentally prepared for it, because if you're not going to enjoy this. It's really hard to get through. I ate this book up and left no crumbs, but let me tell you, it was the most devastating and hard thing to do. On a lighter note, though, this is the second book that got me out of the Onyx Storm reading slump, and I have to say thank you to my husband for picking this up for me for my birthday, because if it wasn't for him, I guarantee it, I would still be in that reading slump. Because Onyx Storm destroyed me mentally and put me into the longest and most biggest slump I've ever been in. I was in that slump for 2 solid months. And these 2 books, this destroyed me, devastated me, and I knew if I read something this devastating and sad that I would want something happy and frilly and girly and cute. And he delivered. So, my husband got this for my birthday. This is the Walmart exclusive. The Target exclusive is pink and really cute, and I kind of wanted that one, but I'm not complaining because this one, the cover is just as cute. That's besides the point. This is a really cute, super quick read. I literally read it, I think, in a day and a half. I literally could not put this down. This is about Aiden Valentine. He is our main male character. He is a late night radio host in Baltimore who hosts a dating advice radio show. But he himself doesn't believe in love. He's fallen out of love. He doesn't think he can ever find love. And honestly, he feels like he needs to quit his job. Until a young girl, just 12 years old, calls in and says, "Help me. My mom needs to find love. She's so alone, and I'm tired of her being sad because she's alone." That mom is Lucy. Lucy Stone is a mother to a 12-year-old girl who, honestly, I think this 12-year-old just is devious and mischievous, and I love her for it. But Lucy, she works at an auto repair shop as a mechanic, and she's definitely like more rough and gruff and not your typical like girly girl. But she feels like she doesn't need to. She has all the love she wants. She has her ex, who happens to be her next neighbor, and her baby daddy, and his husband, and then she also has her daughter. So she doesn't feel like she needs any more love. But when her daughter calls, for good reason, she's freaking out, right? Like, her daughter's on the phone with a complete stranger at like 10:30 at night. I freak the fuck out too. So she answers and she's like, "Are you a serial killer? Like, what the hell? What is this?" And he explains it to her. Well, then she gets invited to go on the show to find love. And what does she find? She goes on several dates. They don't work out. But she finds that she loves the man sitting next to her. This book had me laughing out loud, kicking my feet, giggling like a little schoolgirl. It was so adorable, okay? This is a 5-star for me. I recommend this 10,000%. If you guys have not read anything by B.K. Borson, let this be the first one, okay? This is my first B.K. Borson book, and now she's on the tier of, if she writes it, I know I'm going to love it, so I'm going to read it. Literally. Everyone wants Lucy to find her happy ending, and she honestly thinks for a moment that she does, until she realizes that her happy ending really is the man next to her, and they don't even have like a third act breakup. I know, what? They have like a third act misunderstanding, but he does everything right to get it back. He even leaves a list of all her favorite things so he knows what to get her and how to treat her to make her happy, because all he wants is for her to be happy. Swooning for this man. I'm swooning for this man, okay? He literally leaves chocolate for her. She's the only one allowed to drink his special coffee and she finds it every single time. It's so cute. Pick up First Time Caller. If you guys are in a slump and you need anything to get you out of it, I recommend a rom-com like this, and I promise you this was the perfect read, and I enjoyed it. 5 stars, favorite read so far out of 2025. Well, maybe. Okay, besties, that's it. That's all I have for you guys. These 2 books, thank Jesus for them, got me out of the worst reading slump that I've ever had. And honest to God, if it wasn't for that, I would still be sitting here staring at a wall not knowing what to do, because I wouldn't be able to read a single book, because every book I read after Onyx Storm I freaking hated. I know, right? Great. I love that for me. But I love you guys. If you guys have any recommendations that get you out of slumps, please comment them below, so anyone that needs those recommendations have them to has them to use, and I would love your recommendations as well. But don't forget that I love you. Go read a book, be less depressed, forget the outside world, because fuck that shit. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in my next one. Read on, my book besties. Bye guys. I love you.